Let us clearly define the leeches, those individuals who skillfully exploit the empathy and emotions of others as tools for manipulation, often to fulfill their own unfocused wants. Here are some common types we recognize. The victimhood artist, those who cultivate an identity of perpetual suffering, weaponizing pity to gain attention, sympathy, and resources. The guilt tripper, individuals who prey on the ingrained sense of obligation or fear of social disapproval, using guilt to extract compliance. The emotional manipulator, those who employ dramatic displays of vulnerability or distress to bypass rational thought and trigger an empathetic response for their own gain. The moral high ground player, individuals who weaponize a seemingly virtuous stance and loudly proclaimed empathy to exert social pressure and control others. The love bomber, those who initially overwhelm their target with affection to create an intense emotional bond, later exploiting this bond for control and demands. Now, let's delve into the victimhood artist with examples viewed through the lens of our Oculi Abyssi tenets. The victimhood artist consistently presents themselves as besieged by misfortune. Imagine a colleague who perpetually recounts tales of unfair treatment at work, emphasizing their powerlessness against a tyrannical boss. Tenet 2, illusion of unfocused emotion. Each anecdote is delivered with dramatic flair, meticulously crafted to elicit immediate sympathy from those around them. Tenet 3, burden of unearned empathy. When you, perhaps out of a misplaced sense of obligation, offer potential solutions, suggesting they document the issues or explore alternative employment, they invariably have a litany of reasons why those options are impossible for them, effectively deflecting any personal responsibility for their situation and hindering their own self-determination. Tenet IV, sovereignty of choice. Their unwavering focus remains on the emotional resonance of their suffering, seeking continuous validation and support without demonstrating any genuine, focused want to actively change their circumstances. This relentless drain of emotional energy, fueled by their unfocused want for pity, becomes a tangible impediment to your own focused pursuits. Tenet V, necessity of removal. Their influence, if unchecked, can divert your attention and resources. As vigilant Oculi Abyssi. Tenet 7, vigilance of the abyss. We observe this recurring pattern, recognizing it as a deliberate or unconscious attempt to leverage unearned empathy, and we cultivate strategic indifference to safeguard our vital force and maintain our trajectory of focused desire. Let's refine our understanding of the guilt tripper with more vivid examples and a rewritten explanation, keeping our Oculi Abyssi tenets firmly in focus. The guilt tripper, weaving the web of obligation. The guilt tripper is a subtle but potent emotional manipulator. They don't always resort to overt displays of distress. Instead, they skillfully weave a web of obligation, preying on your conscience and your desire to maintain positive relationships. Their tactics often involve invoking past actions, highlighting perceived sacrifices, or subtly contrasting their hardship with your well-being, all to elicit compliance and divert your focus towards their unfocused wants. Imagine a scenario with a close friend. This friend might frequently remind you of a time they helped you through a difficult situation years ago. Every time you hesitate to agree to a new request, perhaps one that inconveniences you or clashes with your priorities, they might say something like, "I was there for you when you really needed it." This subtle invocation of a past good deed creates an unspoken pressure, a feeling that you are now indebted to them and obligated to fulfill their current desire, regardless of its merit or alignment with your own focused path. Tenet 3, burden of unearned empathy. They are leveraging a past act to demand present compliance, without necessarily demonstrating any current shared striving or reciprocal worth. Consider a different example involving a family member. This individual might consistently lament their own perceived lack of success or happiness whenever you share positive news about your life. They might sigh and say, "It must be nice," or recount their own struggles immediately after you've shared an achievement. This subtle contrast aims to instill a sense of guilt for your well-being, implying that your success somehow exacerbates their perceived suffering. It's a manipulative tactic to draw your attention and emotional energy towards their unfocused needs, potentially hindering your own unimpeded pursuit of your goals. Tenet V, necessity of removal. Think also of the colleague who consistently takes credit for team successes while subtly blaming others for failures. When confronted, they might play the martyr, saying things like, "I put in so much extra effort. I'm always the one who has to pick up the slack." This creates a sense of guilt in others for not working hard enough, or for not appreciating their supposed sacrifices, even if the reality is different. This manipulation aims to elevate their own standing while deflecting responsibility, potentially hindering the team's overall progress and creating an environment of unearned obligation. Tenet IV. Sovereignty of choice. They attempt to control the narrative and avoid accountability. As Oculi Abyssi, our vigilance must be keenly attuned to these nuanced manipulations. Tenet 7. Vigilance of the Abyss. We understand that genuine connection and support are earned through shared purpose and mutual respect. Tenet 8. Not through the subtle coercion of guilt. We cultivate a strategic indifference to these emotional pressures, recognizing them as attempts to divert us from our focused wants. Our choices remain our own, unburdened by the manipulative weight of unearned guilt, and our path is guided by our own focused desires, not the subtle emotional accounting of others.